We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for Jacks, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting Jacks.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting Jacks Report. Along with Mauricio Ruiz, I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up, a major announcement by Sporting Jacks on the youth soccer level that will provide more opportunities for young soccer stars. Plus, the U.S. women's national team looking to wrap up 2024 in style. But let's start with the crowning of a champion in the USL Championship. Our Island Wing Company game of the week, an obvious pick, the only choice really, the USL Championship Final. A first-year club, Rhode Island FC, facing Colorado Springs, a club playing for its first trophy. To the Rocky Mountains we go. A standing room only crowd at the highest elevated pro soccer pitch in North America for the finals. A 10 a.m. Mountain Time kickoff. And from the opening minute, the home team was on the front foot. Colorado Springs racing forward. Jairo Enriquez plays a beautiful through ball to Yosuke Hanya, but he just misses it off to the right. This would be an indicator of how the Switchbacks would play. 22nd minute, Hanya involved again. Watch his hesitation move and a perfect cross to Juan Tejada. The Panamanian puts it away off his thigh. It's 1-0 Colorado Springs.
And Cole, you mentioned there, Hanya on that side here. You're going to see he's 1v1, isolated, taking players on, and then the players in the middle of the box, all they got to do is wait for a little poor defending on Rhode Island, and Tejada takes it away. You're going to see here again, just a beautiful move, takes him inside, pushes down the line, and Tejada just puts it in.
Later in the half, fast break time again for the Switchbacks. Enriquez on the run. He's cut off. His first shot is blocked, but he gets it back. And look at that strike. 2-0 Colorado Springs. Just a tremendous individual effort by the Salvadoran.
Well, what a volley here. You say he gets the bounce back, just a layup right for him, and just absolutely drills it. No chance for the goalkeeper.
And take a look here from the angle from behind the goal. I mean, this is just grit. And then a great strike right in a spot where the keeper couldn't even touch it. Now, let's take another look. We move into first half stoppage time. Colorado Springs again. The Switchbacks just relentless. Quincy Uriman with a missile from distance. This one saved by Coque Vegas. It was 2-0 at halftime. Second half now, 53rd minute, Rhode Island with a corner kick, and watch what happens. They go high. Clay Holstead's shot is blocked out in front, and Matt Real sends it forward. The only guy out there is Ronaldo Damas, and he is off to the races, runs about 80 yards, puts it away. 3-0 Colorado Springs, and the fans are loving it in the Rocky Mountains.
Cole, what a goal to go 8 yards the distance. You're going to see here once again, he just takes off when the ball gets rebounded in. And this is a lot harder than you think. It's on that artificial turf, so the ball gets a little bit of a bounce. For him to keep this control, bait the keeper to one side, and slide it away. You're going to see here, keeper goes to the left, he puts it to the right. What a finish.
Great angle to see how it all went down there. Rhode Island didn't have many chances, only 2 shots on target all game long. When they did get one on frame, Christian Herrera was there to deny.
When Christian Herrera, remember, he was really the hero in the semifinal to keep him in the game.
That was the first shot on target. There was the second. Herrera just magnificent in the playoffs for Colorado Springs. A dominant performance in the final by the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, who earned the club's first USL Championship title, a 3-0 win over Rhode Island FC.
I think the trust that the players, the staff put on me, and to play here in front of my family, my wife, my baby, and this, everybody from Colorado Springs is so special. So to give back to them in this way, to win a trophy in this stadium is so special, and it's something I will never forget.
He's just really happy for the group. We suffered so much this year, and for us to put it together and come back, I think this group deserves everything that's coming their way.
Mal, what a way to finish the season for Colorado Springs after they started pretty slowly, but boy, did they come on.
Yeah, and you heard Hernandez there at the end, so they suffered so much this year. We don't know a lot of the internal stories, but they didn't start very fast. They started slow. It's kind of a surprise that they got to even finish second. Some teams started losing towards the end of the season, but for them to finish as strong as they did and have this run through the playoffs, really impressive.
Hats off to Colorado Springs for sure. Well, this week saw a major announcement in the landscape of youth soccer in Jacksonville, one that will benefit the local soccer fans and the club. Sporting Jacks and Florida Elite announcing a partnership as the Sporting Jacks Foundation and Florida Elite will be combining to create a pathway to the pros. Florida Elite is the biggest youth soccer club in the state, and with a partnership with Sporting Jacks, there's now a clearly defined pathway for youth soccer stars to follow, from the very youngest players up to those who could represent the city on the professional level. With Sporting Jacks, both the men's and women's side, it's a major move that will benefit the entire local youth soccer ecosystem.
I think it's a tremendous opportunity to extend our pathway to the pros. I think to have an organisation come in like this means that the future is rosy for the kids, for the community. It's taking us to the national level. We will be one of the best clubs in the country. It's very exciting to combine with a pro team. It's great for the kids and it's great for our families. And it's cool for the kids to have a pro team that they can support. We will all be supporting Sporting Jacks. We will be delighted to wear their colours. We'll be delighted to be called Sporting Jacks. It's exciting for every single kid. They've got players that they'll be able to look up to.
It's really special. It's really, like you said, a culmination of a lot of people's hard work, dedication, sacrifices, kids, parents, administrators, coaches, and I just think it's an amazing opportunity. I think it's game-changing for Jacksonville, for North Florida, and I think it's almost surreal when I think about where we were to what this opportunity is today. But I also think it's well-deserved because of the work that has gone in from many people. The brand coming together, the two groups coming together to create a pathway from 2-year-olds to professionals in this sport that is not really been done before. I think people will see the opportunity that goes beyond just the game and goes into the community and helps people, helps kids. That's always been our mission. So I think immediately people will see that, feel that, and I think then people will start to see with the stadium plans and all of that the future, there's big plans, there's huge ambitions, there's tremendous goals that will be met, that will be reached, and will put Jacksonville and North Florida, St. John's, Duval, well and truly on the map.
All right, let's talk about the benefit of this. There's the big announcement, but Mauricio, this is something that really could benefit the kids as well as the soccer community in general.
Well, absolutely, and you said it. It's really about the kids and giving them an opportunity to now develop themselves to potentially be pro players, something that has been limited here in our community, certainly never on the women's side. Mm-hmm. And we have a rich history on the women's side here that our young ladies go through the youth system, they go to college, and sometimes that's it. That's the top. So now we've been able to align an opportunity all the way from bottom, all the way to the top, potentially even more players that will represent the national team as well.
Yeah, we're not done talking about this topic. We'll have more on the merger coming up as we hear from some of the youth soccer stars and their parents. That's a little bit later on in our Youth Soccer Spotlight. This weekend, the U.S. women's national team faced England at Wembley Stadium, and on Tuesday, the women faced the Netherlands. We'll hear from Becky Burleigh on the team's progress coming up. But Mal, what have you seen from the team since Emma Hayes took over?
There's really a new culture. There's really excitement. They're still dominant on the field. They always have been. Obviously, they had the World Cup that they underperformed. But the team, as far as players go, we have this new infusion of young players that are coming in. But when you kind of look from the outside in, you just see a team that's energized. There's a clear identity how they want to play. But there's a bit of a mission, too, to kind of get back to the top. They did in the Olympics. We know the Olympics sometimes is a bit of an example. But now facing England, that's really going to be the first big test that they're going to have.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, we'll take a little more of a look there with Becky coming up in just a bit. But right now, it's time for Mauricio's Corner. And today, you want to take a closer look at how Colorado Springs really took control of the final early on.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Cole, it was impressive the run that they had, getting to this point. But now we're in the final. Rhode Island had an equally as impressive run, maybe even a more shocking one. But to be able to host the final at home and to kind of get on the front foot, you're going to see here on the highlights and really kind of, watch it quickly because it's going to come fast. It's going to be a minute of shots upon shots upon shots. And really, when you kind of have this much confidence, and you saw some of these on a game of the week, but it's just a flurry of balls into the box. Shots from distance, some of them go in, some of them don't, but if you don't take any shots, you're never going to make any. So you're going to see just a repetition of almost a green light trigger happy, we call it. Sometimes coaches don't want players to be trigger happy. In this case, they had the confidence to do so.
And this coming from a team that really hung their hat on their defense this year for the most part. They allowed a league low or a club low 40 goals this year in league play. But boy, they came out like a house of fire.
Well, look at this. I mean, the confidence. I mean, you're up 2-0 at home, and you're shooting from half field, you're shooting from distance. And some of these are not even coming close, mind you, but it's the confidence. So when I watch this team, I'm looking at this confidence. From here's their leading goal scorer. You expect him to get a goal in the final, and he puts on a beautiful goal, the one he's going to remember forever.
Yeah, as will all the fans there in Colorado Springs, no doubt about it. We are now 3.5 months away from the start of the 2025 USL Championship season. Remember, you can become a member of Sporting Jacks. It's absolutely free. Just go to sportingjacks.com to sign up. You'll get discounts on club merchandise, invitations to VIP events, entries into contests for prizes and experiences, and receive the Sporting Jacks monthly newsletter. Plus, you can put your deposit down for season tickets for the Sporting Jacks men's and women's teams and receive an exclusive Sporting Jacks founding member pin. Just go to sportingjacks.com to become a member. Coming up, we'll hear from Becky Burleigh, the U.S. women's national team losing a key cog who's retiring from the national team after the next match. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report rolls on. While the USL Championship season has come to an end, you can catch every USL Super League game all season long. They're streaming live on Peacock. Time now for USL Super League highlights. Let's start in South Florida, where Fort Lauderdale United hosted DC Power. 74th minute, and DC looking for a goal. Madison Wolfbauer with a try from distance, but it's handled by the keeper, still scoreless in the game. Tati Fung on a free kick from outside the box for Fort Lauderdale, and she goes for goal, just caroms off the outside of the post, still scoreless. Into stoppage time in the second half, where Caitlin Duong sets up Anna Bagley for the only goal of the match. DC Power keeps Fort Lauderdale winless in the last 5, a 1-0 final. Carolina Ascent hosting Dallas Trinity. Nearly 5,000 on hand for this one, and the road team breaking through early, just the 3rd minute, but Dallas showing some patience here. Chioma Ubagagu gets it to Sam Meza. Watch the tenacity here. And she scores. It's the fastest goal yet in the Super League, 1-0 Dallas. Carolina would look to equalize just a few minutes later. This is a lovely turn by Catherine Gonzalez. Look at this. Playing it just at the top of the D, but it is covered by Madison White to protect the 1-0 Dallas lead. Later in the half, another chance for Dallas. Amber Brooks, the free kick, pings around in the box, falls to Sierra Hinson, who one times it to Gracie Bryan. Her shot saved by Megan McClellan to keep the game at 1-0. Final minutes of the first half, a corner kick for Carolina. Looks like this one would level the game at 1. But they call a foul in the box, no goal. It remained 1-0 at halftime. Second half, Dallas with a corner in the 81st minute. Jenny Julia Danielson sends it in. Amber Brooks with a header saved by McClellan, and that's the way things end. Consecutive losses by Carolina to fall out of the top spot in the league. Dallas now unbeaten in 5 after a 1-0 away win. Let's take a look at the USL Super League standings. Brooklyn sitting on top right now in the standings. And with 23 points, they've won 4 straight. They are the hottest team in the league, although Dallas unbeaten in their last 5. A team to watch for sure. Tampa Bay Sun right now on the plus side of the top 4. Top 4 teams will make it to the postseason. Of course, we're nearing the end of the first half of the season of the inaugural year of the Super League. All right, time now to welcome in Becky Burleigh, who was at the USL Championship Final in Colorado Springs. Becky, give me a sense of your experience there and what it was like from an atmosphere standpoint to see that final.
It was an incredible atmosphere. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed my time at that final. The crowd was into it. They were an educated crowd. There was smoke. There was goals. It was everything you would want in a final.
Well, and Becky, obviously the game got off to a fast start. What do you take away from the quality of the game? What kind of stood out to you as far as when the ball got rolling?
Man, I thought the quality was excellent. I was really impressed with some of the talent that both teams had, but particularly Colorado Springs. I mean, you talked about it in the highlights, but that 80-yard run was incredible. I thought Tejada's goal was amazing. That guy's got some quick feet. There was just some really fun things for the fans to get into, and they definitely did.
Yeah, and they'll be celebrating for months now in Colorado Springs. Let's move on to the U.S. women's national team, where this week the goalkeeper Elisa Nair announcing her retirement from international soccer. That will come after Tuesday's game against the Netherlands. She won't play for the U.S. anymore. Let's talk about what her legacy is now. What does she leave behind? And then who's next to step into the goal?
Boy, she's had quite a legacy. I mean, we have been really fortunate in the U.S. to have strong goalkeeping for the history of our program, and she was somebody who carried on that. And, you know, it's interesting because she was such a private, quiet person that she doesn't, when you don't think of goalkeepers with that type of personality, you think of these big, giant personalities. But she just got it done. And I think that she will be somebody that U.S. soccer is really going to miss. You know, in terms of who's next, that's a really good question. I think there's two keepers in the next camp that are very untested at that level, two keepers in that camp who have some good experience, but, you know, that's not a position that substitutes a lot. So whoever comes next is going to be kind of relatively inexperienced in comparison to what we've had.
And Becky, the U.S. women's national team faced England yesterday. Next up, they'll play the Netherlands on Tuesday. What do you see? What do you want to see specifically from this match?
You know, I think it'll be interesting to see how much of roster rotation happens in the second game. I think that both of those are really quality opponents. So it's an awesome opportunity for Emma to give some of these younger people, or not even younger, but less experienced and less capped players, an opportunity to show out.
Of course, everything is pointing forward to the World Cup. It'll come faster for the men than for the women, but a lot of big questions to be answered between now and then to see if the U.S. can get back on top. Becky, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds great.
We have seen some great response from fans wanting to reserve their season tickets for Sporting Jacks, and you can too. Just go to sportingjacks.com, put your deposits down. $25 reserves your space for the men's or the women's team, and if you want to reserve your spot for both, it's $40. Just go to sportingjacks.com to save your seat for pro soccer in Jacksonville. Still to come, our youth soccer spotlight. We hear from some of the youth players and parents and get their reaction to Sporting Jacks combining with Florida Elite. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report rolls on. Sporting Jacks will be unveiling the official kit in the months to come, but already you can get your own Sporting Jacks official merchandise just in time for the holidays. T-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and of course the scarf. You can find Sporting Jacks official merchandise at sportingjacks.com, at our official team store on Phillips Highway, and at We Got Soccer. It is time now for our Youth Soccer Spotlight, brought to you by the Bearded Pig Barbecue, and we're hearing from some of the kids and parents from Florida Elite after this week's announcement of the partnership between Sporting Jacks and the Youth Soccer Academy. Dozens of players and parents were on hand at Veterans Park in St. Johns County for the announcement on Tuesday. There was a real buzz in the air, and the kids and parents we spoke with were excited about having a true pathway to the pros, and there were quite a few dreams being spoken about as well.
I think it's an awesome opportunity. It's definitely something to look forward to for my future. I'm committed to the University of Iowa for soccer, so being able to have that platform to come back and hopefully one day play professionally is awesome.
It means like everything, because since my dream is to go pro, so it's going to be like a way better journey with Sporting Jacks to go pro. It's just easier and way better.
It's so exciting to look up. I can't wait to look up to these players and just know them and be able to relate to them coming from this area.
I think it'll be great for them to see what can this become and how can they become like a professional team, especially since now that they're so young, they have so much more time to develop and see, all right, this is the level I can be at.
From a parent's perspective, it is one of the greatest things that could happen, and the reason being it gives my children who are 14 and 15, who when they came to competitive, they started on the very bottom team. They have worked their way up to the top teams, but it now gives them a pathway directly into professional play if they want that opportunity, and that opportunity for every child that plays here. That's what makes it great.
Yeah, Mal, we spoke earlier about the benefits and how this benefits Sporting Jacks and local soccer fans, but there is a strong motivation now for these kids who have dreams of playing professional soccer.
It really does, and you connect the word development with an actual tangible goal now, because we talk about development of youth, and where does that go? And there's development, there's lessons, and there's there's a lot of things that you can learn from playing youth soccer. But from a soccer-specific standpoint, developing your skills, your tangible soccer skills, where does that go to? Now you actually have that goal, that it's right there, and you're going to have access to players, be able to see those players wearing your same brand, wearing the same colors, fighting for the same cause. So you can when you connect those dots in person, it makes them much more tangible and realistic for these young players in our community.
Yeah, and hearing from some of the players, some of the older players we heard from there, but there were also some younger players as well that we heard from. You heard from one of them in that package. There's such a thought about what can happen in the future. You think about it from a football standpoint, when you have local players playing for the local team, the excitement level that comes up, whether it's Tim Tebow or Rasheed Mathis playing for the Jaguars or whatnot. To have that same kind of local connection with the local pro team on the soccer side really is going to be terrific.
Well, they even have a song for that, right? They're one of our own. They're one of our own. So to be able to get some of those players, and maybe we're on camera right there and then, or around the environment, to eventually 3 to 4 to 5 years play for the brand and play for the professional team, it would be something incredible for our whole community collectively.
Well, we look forward to more of that in the future. Hey, be sure to join us every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL for the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour. It's on the 1010 AM side. You can also listen online or on demand at 1010XL.com. Still to come, a full week of Premier League soccer is straight ahead. That's next as the Sporting Jacks Report continues. A programming note, next week the Sporting Jacks Report will be back on our noon Saturday time slot before Premier League coverage on NBC 12. You can also find us on demand at First Coast News Plus and the Sporting Jacks YouTube channel. Well, we had Premier League games on Friday and Saturday and today, and then there will be more this week. Games on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday this week. One of those Tuesday games is Ipswich hosting Crystal Palace at Portman Road. Ipswich was promoted this season and are playing in the top flight for the first time in 22 years. Both Ipswich and Palace are in the relegation zone right now. And Mauricio, both of these clubs really need a result.
Boy, it's great when they're playing each other because now it can actually take points away from one another, and they need it absolutely. And Ipswich has probably have the better run. Crystal Palace is really struggling this year for whatever reason, but that's probably the game of the week because you're going to see who kind of gets out of the relegation zone.
Yeah, this is a big battle, of course, and the difference that it makes for a club to not only get into the Premier League from the Championship, but to stay for another year. That's where the real benefit comes.
That's where the real money is, and that's when you can continue to invest within your infrastructure and possibly roster building.
That'll be a fun one to watch, and a lot of soccer for sure coming up this week if you are following the Premier League. Hey, we want to remind you as well to follow us on social media. There are the Sporting Jacks handles for X and Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Stay up to date with what's going on with Sporting Jacks. For Mauricio Ruiz and Becky Burleigh, I'm Cole Pepper. Thanks so much to you for watching. Hope your holiday season is off to a great start. We'll talk to you next week.